Hello, you are listening to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by two sweaty nerds. The one sweaty nerd's name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and the other sweaty nerd's name is John, the ginger gorilla. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. We had a great weekend. Kyle and I actually saw each other for the first time in a while. Um, both vaccinated, so it's safety first. But it was great to see each other. Um, and yeah, but you did throw me off just now at the start of this podcast because you did it a little differently than normal, and I was like, "What? Where am I?" But besides that, I'm feeling good, and I'm excited for our conversation today because one of our favorite, I guess, reality game shows, we'd call this, right?
Yeah, I guess it's more of a game show.
Yeah. So like, well, probably my favorite reality game show, The Circle, season 2.
Yes, this was this the first reality show that we did?
I think first or second because I can't remember if we did Love Is Blind first or if we did this first.
We
Oh,
liked
first or
this more
second.
than Love Is Blind, though,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that is because back then, the way we described it was really good, clean in a sense of like not being overly dramatic fun.
Mm-hmm.
This season, however, started off a bit differently,
Yeah.
and we will get into that as we go. But first of all, John, Circle season two, were you expecting the exact same format, or were you expecting them to spice things up a little bit as they did in this season with like the Joker, uh, pairing people up post blocking? Did you expect some additions to the game, or did you think it was going to be the same?
Um, Actually, I didn't, but like, I also didn't think about it in that sense of like, oh, are they gonna throw something new in here to keep it fresh? Um, So I didn't really think about that, but I like that they did because it felt fresh. I hope that's not something that gets out of hand if this show is to continue, which I once again hope it does because I thought this season was great. But I could see it like 6 seasons in, all of a sudden they're jumping the shark and they're doing some zany stuff. But one of the biggest twist right from the beginning was the fact that they had another reality star in it. I think that was like the first thing that I wanted to go, whoa. And that even turned like at first I was like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like that. Like just prejudging and whatnot. But it turned out to be one of the best things about this season was Chloe. I mean, and we'll get into that obviously, but I like the twists. I think worked out really well. The Joker was fun, um, and it added some drama, which some people love, some people hate, but we are watching reality TV, so you need to have a little bit of spice in there. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed the twists, but I didn't expect them because I didn't really think about it ahead of time. But I think it was something that it made the season feel like a new season, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It did feel a little bit updated. And with that, let's talk about the cast, and let's go
Yeah.
in order of episode. I have them pulled up here on Wikipedia.
Awesome.
So in episode one, we get introduced to, I'm going first name only, Bryant, Savannah, Teralicia, Jack, who's playing Emily. We get Lee, who is playing River.
Mm-hmm.
We get Courtney, who is playing himself, but a barista. We get Chloe, who is playing herself, and Delisha, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, who is playing Trevor, her actual 32-year-old husband. And by the way, before we get any further, we are going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the season finale for The Circle season 2, go do so, come back, and listen from here. Now, off rip, John, did you have someone who you didn't like and someone who you did like beginning the show? Like someone you were like, I could see myself wanting this person to win, or I could see myself not wanting this person to win. Because I don't know about you,
Yeah.
but for me, when I watch the show and someone walks in, I'm talking about Jack.
Yeah.
I'll just say it outright. who goes, "I'll be the biggest villain in Circle history. I'm playing the game and I'm catfishing." I'm ready to berate you verbally and point at you aggressively at my television. So that's where I was with Jack. Immediately, I was into Lee, very sweet man.
Yeah.
Courtney seemed fun,
Hmm.
and I love that his name is Courtney. Chloe was very entertaining seeming, and there was something about both Terralicia and Savannah that I thought was interesting, but we'll get into the two of them in a little bit.
Yes.
And then finally, Delisha, I was like,
I think
I
it's
kind of
Delisa.
Delisa, you might be
Yeah.
Delisa, you're correct. I'm combining Terralicia with Delisa.
I did it all season long.
Makes sense. Something about Delisa. Now tell me if I'm wrong, but I immediately was like, I kind of wish you were just being yourself. You seem so endearing and sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. And I mean, so my whole reaction for the beginning cast was I enjoyed it, the very first episode, but then it left me with like, oh, immediately felt like there's not the same level of authenticity that's going to be
Yeah.
in this season as the first. Now, I don't think that was I mean, producers and casting choose the people and they know like what these people are going to do. So, maybe it was a choice to make it feel like a different season so it doesn't get bland. But I like the genuineness. And I mean, it's probably just cuz I enjoyed the the three main people, or
Four.
a lot of four people, like Chris, Joey. I mean, there were so many people last season who were authentic. Chris, Joey, Sam, Shuby, Miranda. They were them. They didn't catfish. And even the one who did catfish, I mean, I liked, but it was still like, I don't like that you're being fake because you're a catfish. Now, the thing is, we need them, right? You need the
Yeah.
catfish. They're the necessary evil. Like Jack, turned out I ended up really liking Jack, right? I
Yeah.
ended up and like Lee. Now Lee was different because he was an authentic catfish. He ended up just being himself, but with a different picture. So those things I really enjoyed. And we'll get into. I don't even know if there was a catfish that I didn't necessarily end up liking.
Let me go through them real quick. Catfish, no.
People.
There was one that was dumb, like a dumb
Hmm.
catfish idea.
Okay. Which one?
Oh, the Lance Bass thing was a
Yeah,
bit
that
of a
was
bad
kind of
play.
yeah. That was it. That was interesting.
Uh, it, no, look, I don't blame you for gaming the system as a catfish,
Hmm.
but passing off as a millionaire in the show
Yeah,
is extremely difficult.
and then saying like, "Oh, I want to start up." What she say? The reason to use the money for another tour or whatever.
Another tour, but she thought she was being cheeky, but put
Yeah,
no LOLs, no
yeah.
JKs, no emojos,
But
nothing.
like, my thing is like, wouldn't you just say it to donate it to charity or something? Like,
Yeah,
just go with the easy play on that one. Whatever. That gets into gameplay. That's not necessarily. But the cast,
yeah,
like, okay, so the cast originally made me feel like, I don't know if I'm gonna like them as much.
because they
But
all
you know
came
what?
in. Now, tell me if
Yeah,
I'm wrong, but they all came in being like, and
I'm
I
gonna
watched the first
game.
season back,
Yeah,
and everyone was like, "I'm here to win it," but these people were especially all doing this thing.
yeah, almost like savages. Like they're like, I don't
Yeah,
care about any. I want this money, and I'm here to game. Where in the first season they're like, yeah, I want to win it, but like I also want to make connections and enjoy the experience, type of thing.
yeah.
And I just felt like it wasn't there. And then also, obviously, very early on in the season, we do have a little spice in our life and a lot
I
and
wouldn't
some
say little.
drama.
This was like the most
Yeah,
dramatic thing in both
out of
seasons,
both
and
seasons, yeah.
it was kind of dumb. Like that
Oh
it blew
yeah,
up like this.
because both of them were wrong. Like they were
Exactly.
both wrong. Like
Well, let's get into this.
yes,
Let's explain it
you
fully.
give the breakdown. You bet at this. Have at it.
So, the first influencers of the season were Terralicia and Savannah. Two characters who I was like, these two might make it to the finals. They seem like the cool kids of the bunch. Um, they there's like a confidence to both of them that comes across on both on screen and seemingly within the game. and they decided to send home Bryant. Here's my hot take before we get into their fight. If Bryant wasn't the one that went home, the first couple episodes of the season would not be as dramatic at all. He was this beacon of good energy and good vibes. We would have loved him.
Yeah.
But the pure guy going, pure meaning like the one who seemingly, I don't know him IRL, I'm talking about the character I see on television. Before we go on, we're talking about these people as characters on TV. We're not shaming them and berating them as people IRL. We don't know them. They're all probably great. I assume that they're all awesome people.
I mean, just seeing the post afterwards with them hanging out with the original cast too, or the first season 1 cast, it just seems like, I mean, once again, even the original cast, we don't know these people, or we don't maybe know any of their views or whatever. Just as them as characters and reality show characters, they just seem like fun, lighthearted people.
Exactly. And the second word you use there, lighthearted.
Yes.
That is something that we've learned this season. That's what works in the circle.
100%.
But here's the thing, John. Now tell me if I'm wrong here. I think that the second season of a show is more important than the first one in that it's where you experiment and see what does not work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this season of The Circle showed that. If you show emphasis on people who are being themselves and who are being nice and fun and engaging in that way of, I want to watch you because you're a good time, I think that makes show work better.
So the thing is, with this whole Taralisha and Savannah drama that came about because they got into a fight about whose reason it was and who didn't defend who, and kind of throwing Brian out of the circle early on. They got in the fight and they pointed fingers at each other. And with that, it was just this drama that they brought in that people don't like drama in the circle. It's like real life. Like, people start drama online, but no one really looks at it and goes like, I'm enjoying watching this. Like, no, it makes you feel like that. It's toxic. It's a bitter taste. It's not fun.
Well, and you know what it is, John? It's because everyone in the circle is involved in that directly now. They have to be. And that's
and it's
what people
almost
don't
like
want to be. They don't want to be
sides,
involved in the drama.
Mm-hmm.
But keep going.
And with that, and once again, I don't know, like, because I'm almost like, I feel like this has to happen within this show to give us these moments of being like, man, I didn't like that, but you get to see almost different sides of people. And almost like, if it was lovey-dovey the whole time, would it be as entertaining? I don't know. Because if we get season after season and everyone's just lovey-dovey, it's like, all right, I get it. Like, I don't, like, I feel like you need drama. That's why reality TV is reality TV. You need that little bit of drama every now and again. But like, if I end up on the circle, when me and Kyle are catfish, we're a duo catfish, first duo catfish to turn out in the beginning of the season. Just saying, Netflix, shout out y'all. When we do that, we're not gonna start drama. We're gonna be fun, lighthearted. We're gonna be ourselves, but a combined version, right? Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be wonderful. And we're gonna win. So, but like, that's what I think you need to do. You don't need to be you. Now, obviously, Bryant was him. Bryant was all that. But he was like almost too pure to be true. Which is weird, because then later on, when John came in, he was pure and everyone loved him. Yeah. So it was like this weird thing. But I think at that point, and by that point, they may have realized, like, oh, someone could be pure. Like, oh, we messed up the first time. We were wrong.
We threw away a great soul for the first time. But you know what, dude? I think that one of the things that with this show is that the drama in this season seemed to drag out a couple of episodes long. Because the interweaving of Savannah into Courtney, that relationship caused the Joker thing to be this big thing in some people's minds. If you think about it, Savannah cost Kat the game.
Ooh, true. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Like, it's a domino effect of things. So it's hard because maybe for me it was because the season started off with drama rather than like in the midway point to spice things up had drama.
Yeah, it left it was like, oh no, is this what the season's gonna be? And it ended
Yeah.
up not. Like
No.
by the end of the season, I love this season. I mean, season 1 and season 2, I love them both. Like they're great. So it turned out well. Like
Yeah.
it was just at the beginning, I was like, oh no.
hmm Yeah. I was a little bit worried. I was like,
Hmm.
oh, is this gonna be a bit of a dud?
Yeah.
No.
So but with that also, like, it's just, you could see that it didn't turn out good for the people involved. And when you mention Kat's name, once again, drama again, right? So when Kat called out when she called out Chloe to River and Courtney, it backfired. And then she tried to put out that fire and it didn't work. But once again, it was because she was drunk, and Kat was aggressive. Like she came in with that energy of like, okay, let's do this shit. You could see that
Super
you could tell she was
athletic.
you could tell she was a professional athlete. She came in with some alpha energy, and she wasn't gonna take shit, and I loved it, but I was
Mhm.
like, that's not gonna go well. Like
Like
it's
I'd love for her to be on my team in a game, any type
yes,
of board game.
yeah,
But in saying that, John, it's interesting you said that with the drama path. Let me read you the order of the first everyone who got eliminated pre-finale.
okay.
Let me read it to you. Bryant first eliminated in episode
R
2, didn't really
R.I.P.
get
Man, pure. The good ones go first. Why do the good
yeah.
ones always go first?
Well, much like last season, somebody thought was a catfish the model whose name I'm not remembering for some reason.
Pause
She
real
got sent home
quick.
first
You
because everyone
lagged
was like,
there.
"There's no way."
You lagged.
Oh, I thought so. You lagged on my screen, so I'm
So
going to
just
rewind a little bit.
yeah.
Season starts off with Bryant getting eliminated. Much like last season, a real person got eliminated as well with the model whose name I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But people thought, oh, she's too good to be true. There's no way a model's here, or whatever. She eats tacos, all this stuff. So after Bryant, here's who's eliminated: Savannah, involved in drama; Terralisha, involved with drama; Kat, involved with drama; Mitchell, involved with drama, trying to take
Stay in or
the
win.
trifecta thing,
Yeah.
and trying to break up Chloe and them, which the Kardashians. And then fifth place
Oh, you forgot
is
Jack and Lisa before somewhere in there.
well,
They got eliminated, but
on here it's weird because they technically get eliminated like later.
yeah.
But Jack, the issue with him was he bombed a challenge that
The producer set him up. It was a setup.
was rough.
It was 100% a setup. Also, did you find it really weird that Kat was like, this can't be Lance because he didn't wear a jacket?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that was impressive.
wait, do you really think the person, like this superstar, would remember what he wore at a certain concert that was obviously special to you, but was just a concert to him? Like, do you understand what you're talking? You're talking about one of the biggest boy bands in America, and you were like, haha, you didn't wear that jacket. Got him.
Now, the better response on Lisa's end would have been to just say, "Oh, I don't remember. I'm sorry."
100%, right? Once again, she did not think these. I mean, and I get it. Like, you're in the heat of the moment, but like that, I feel like there were some obvious choices from Lisa that was like, wait, what? What?
Yeah. I think Lisa got caught up too much in knowing Lance Bass in like a personal level rather than to being like strategic in her responses.
Yeah.
So Jack and Lisa are two slight outliers because both of them came in with flawed strategies. Jack trying to play a 21-year-old girl without knowing anything that seemingly a 21-year-old girl would know a little bit based on
especially based off of the pictures, like the makeup, and you can't play it off like, oh, I'm natural or whatever.
Bro,
like,
can you name 3 makeup brands? I can.
I feel like but I also worked at CVS for a while, so like
Ready?
yeah.
if you're on social media, Kylie Cosmetics,
Mm-hmm.
Fenty, and then you could say anything like
Maybelline.
Maybelline,
Boom.
Revlon, whatever.
Yeah.
Bro, you couldn't say those two at least? Those two? Come on. What he said something, he made one up and everyone was like, uh, what?
Dude, he
Who?
went to the makeup kit and still got it wrong.
I know. I know. You know what's wild? To be real, I think you and I could have done that makeup challenge better. We would have known, let's put the wet stuff on the face. It looks like paint. We would have said that at least. We'd been like, it looks like paint. Let's paint the head.
Let's put the wood stuff on the face that looks like paint.
We could paint the
Yeah,
skin.
man. Like, and I feel like I've watched people do their own makeup enough to be like, hey, it won't look like that.
Or
Like,
tell me this wouldn't have been a better strategy. Why not act as if you're actually making a painting and just make the face super, like, draw like rainbows or stars all over it.
like
be creative.
be because like some of them weren't like Mitchell. Like
Yeah.
his was a funny extra. Do it like that. Like be like, I don't know, whatever. Hey. Once again, I'm not in it. Yeah, in the moment, it was probably terrible. When he realized that's what the challenge was, his heart probably sank. Like
he probably had to go to the bathroom, take a
Yeah.
nervous poo, but couldn't because he was on the show. So. But yeah, so all that to say, drama can undo you really quickly, as it did the first, or at least the 5 people I'd mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
It can cost you in the long run.
Yeah.
Courtney got lucky and got to 3rd place, even involving themselves in drama. But the people who we like the most, or the ones who were honest about the drama, like, all right, I'll be straight up. My favorite was Chloe the whole season. I found her to be the most entertaining. I love that she was herself and didn't apologize for being herself. And I like that she wasn't afraid to be within the drama, but she didn't try to start it, and she wasn't extra about it.
Yeah.
I loved her. Delisa was catfishing extremely hard, but there was an earnestness to her, and she did try to do the trifecta and separate the Kardashians.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she played it well enough to where it wasn't necessarily all drama. It was a lot of love being thrown.
Mm-hmm. And she was kind of like, once again, like Lee, she was still kind of herself, but in just a different skin and, different body.
Lee's my number 2, by the way. I love Lee.
I loved Lee. Yeah. So like you, Chloe became my favorite. She wasn't my favorite from the beginning, but just like season 1, Joey wasn't my favorite from the beginning. And then it was undeniable that he was like, I loved him. And Chloe was the same way. I had the same feeling towards Chloe at the beginning that I did with Joey. Like, this is too much. Like, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, that's them. I love it. Like, that's just who she is. And like how naive she was. Like, she just, it was great. And, she just turned out to be this wonderful personality. And you love to see it.
All right. There's one more person who we have to talk about in terms of being a shocker. I was ready to hate Mitchell.
Oh, me too.
I was ready. I was ready.
I didn't really like his mom and brother. I just felt like they were too much. I don't know what it was.
I love the emojis though. I think emojis is hilarious.
Emojis is hilarious. But, and also, that family, they're drastically different.
We'll leave it at that.
Drastically different. No, but like Mitchell looks like his brother was like, I like going mudding, like cut off shirts, and Mitchell's like,
I like shirts.
I'm a model.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's he's hot. Well, I don't know. He's a hot guy, and it's just so different. Like he doesn't look like he would come from that family. Like just from, what is it? So Susquehanna, Pennsylvania or whatever.
Wait, let me, I have it in front of me. No, it's not Susquehanna. It's
Yeah.
Conshohocken.
Conshohocken.
Behold the magic Conshohocken. To me, Mitchell was like kind of a delight. He,
Oh,
shirtless all the time, sure, but at the same time, it's like, well, he does have nice abs.
yeah. Bro, if I looked like that, I would be shirtless all the time too.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd hate being clothed as well.
I mean, and muscle it creates more heat, so he's probably hot. You know?
And he said that he wasn't gonna step on Trevor's Beyonce, and I was like, oh, it's a man with
Yeah.
some honor.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that, and he's honest with Chloe about that too. And I was like, oh, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, let's go. I found myself kind of rooting for him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he won me over. That's the thing. When it comes to reality TV, I judge heavy on some people at the very beginning, and then they end up winning me over, and I'm like, I love it. I love it. But that most of the cast this season, I ended up really liking. Like Courtney, I loved that he reminded me of Chris from season 1, just like the drama, but like authentically him. Like just it was the personality was so vibrant. He always made me smile, and his one-liners were wonderful. Like I loved it. He was really good at
Yeah.
just throwing out some bars, right?
I would argue Chris and Courtney played similar roles in terms of the really charismatic guy
Mm-hmm.
who can appeal to the women in terms of his personality, but also he's just so funny that like you kind of forget that like he's in a game show for a 2nd. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's kind of like watching you.
Yeah.
you're just kind of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Now, we kind of touched on the and Teresa thing. Do you think they could have gone far if they didn't get into the fight?
Yes. I think Tara Alicia would have brought some drama upon herself at some point, almost.
Because she was giga-braining herself a bit?
Yeah, like I think she was too into the game, and that's the thing. I think if you're too into the game, you almost lose the game. It like ruins the game. Where Savannah, I don't know. I feel like almost Savannah's the same way. Because like I think that was one of the reasons that they butt heads. I think they were both like too into the game. And when they both ended up leaving, even though there was still a lot of gaming going on, it didn't feel as like toxic of gaming.
Yeah.
Like when they both got knocked out, that's when the season changed and it felt more of like, hey, okay, I do see authenticness here and there. And I'm not saying they weren't authentically them. It just felt like you're just here to game, like almost. And you're doing it as you, but you're playing you can't come out like you just can't come out as like, hey, I'm playing this game. Like
I take it that they're both alpha personalities.
mm-hmm.
And I think in the circle, when two alpha personalities are there at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
trying to win, it creates friction.
Yeah.
If you think about first season, you had Joey and what was that guy's name? The first influencer ever.
Was it
1
Shuby?
second. Nope. The circle season. The brother who played basketball overseas.
Oh, I don't remember his name. I forgot he was influenced first.
One moment. Antonio. Another alpha personality.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Joey butted heads a lot.
Yeah.
And Joey called him out a lot. And things came to a head.
Mm-hmm.
And Antonio went home. So I think that when there's if you're an alpha personality, you might have to dumb it down a little bit on the circle. That's the thing with season 2. It's taught us a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But were you going to disagree with that?
No, I 100% agree. I think
Okay.
because you don't want to come off strong, like, and because when you come off as an alpha, then you're a threat.
Yeah.
And then like people are gonna get worried, and you need to come off like you can be alpha. Like you could like people could tell that you're an alpha, but you don't want to be an alpha in that situation. You want to portray, hey, outside of here I'm an alpha, but in here I'm also like I'm level. I have these layers. You want to show the layers,
And
it's hard.
You do want to show a sense of community there as well.
Yes. And I'm not saying it's an easy thing to do. Like, especially like when it's in the moment and you're having live conversation with someone. Like one thing that you might send and it might get read wrong and it could throw everything off. And
Hmm.
so like it and that's another great thing about this show is that it's all through text. So like we probably talked about this on the first one that it doesn't let you like, there's no emotion behind the text. It's however that person takes it is how it's going to be. So
Yeah, 100%.
that's what's interesting.
Yeah, so like now we've kind of gone over basically everyone and
Mhm.
everyone's roles on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, we was anyone that we didn't really touch on? No, we basically said we liked everyone. We touched on everyone. So let's touch on the two new additions to the circle format that we got this season. And I think they're
Mhm.
going to be introducing new things each one. That's what I think
Yeah.
is going to happen.
Mhm.
Let's talk about the Joker first. Do you like that concept?
So it was one of those concepts that like when they first went in, I thought that they're gonna let them read like private messages between other people, so you could almost get like
Oh,
background info. I thought that's what it was gonna be.
that would be
Um,
wild.
I don't know how much I thought it was. I liked it actually. You know what? I liked it, and I liked it because it added a new element to the game. I wouldn't want it to happen again because I don't want people to be able to plan for it, right? So
Ah,
I that's what I liked about it. If you add new elements each season, but take out one of the old elements, that helps out a lot, right? Because of the fact that it really lets them that you can't plan. Like one of the things that I noticed this season is they didn't add a lot more pictures. First season you were
they
able to add
didn't.
more pictures. Like once in a while you'd add another picture. This one it was like, no, this is what you got. Like basically, I think they add one more maybe.
I
Yeah,
thought it was
earlier
they
on.
allowed them to have like two or three pictures and that's it. You're just done.
No, earlier on they had one, they had their profile picture, and they were able to show one more because remember Tara Lisa showed the one with the filter on her face,
Oh, was that this
like the
season?
bear, yeah, with the bear filter. And then that was one of the things they made a
Oh,
comment on, like when she got kicked off and she visited Lee
Courtney.
Courtney, and
No, wait, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm
or
wrong. I'm wrong. She might have
whoever
visited
she
Lee.
visited, they were like, well, you in both your pictures you have filters on, and it almost didn't feel like it felt like you were hiding something, and it was like this psychological reason, and so, but like they didn't show more pictures. Right? I think they got more than two pictures in the first season. Like,
Or at least they got more than one reveal of pictures.
yes, so that was very interesting, and yeah, but like I like the Joker concept. It once again it made it more toxic, which originally I was like I don't know, but now knowing how the whole season turned out, I enjoyed that it was there because
Yeah.
it was interesting. How do
Yeah,
you feel about it?
I think I agree with you pretty heavily. It was it was just like in the moment I was kind of like, "Oh god, what are they going what's Courtney going to be able to do?"
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, planning for that would kind of take the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Cuz the fun
So,
of the circle is when it keeps you on your toes with the alerts and all that.
mm-hmm. And how did you feel about how Courtney played it, where he tried to make it seem like it was Emily?
I would not have thought of that.
Yeah, that was
That
super.
was
That was very clever.
some galaxy
Yeah.
brain strat that I straight up would have just been like an ominous presence. I wouldn't have tried to play another person.
Yeah, I
Now,
would have tried
granted,
to.
people figured it out.
Oh yeah, but at first he got them.
Yeah.
They thought it was Emily, and then they realized after Jack got voted off, Jack who played Emily got voted off. They were like, maybe, and then they kind of put the pieces together.
Mhm.
But that was once they learned the dynamic of the other people, so it makes sense that you would then get it, and especially with the way they talk, like
Yep.
some people have a special way that they communicate. So yeah, I thought it was super interesting that Courtney played it that way. But I know some people that we know who also watch this that the way Courtney played it put a bad taste in their mouth about Courtney. Almost like a toxic drama-y bill of taste,
Interesting.
which I understand, but also I kind of loved it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the part where it's gaming the system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the game is like, all right, well, you could plant something in these people's heads, so choose wisely.
Yeah.
So to me, that I didn't mind that at all. Now let's talk about something that I really, really enjoyed from this season. The pairing up of Lisa and Jack. Now, originally, when they first came together, I was like, oh, this is awkward. I don't know if this is going to work. But then by the end, I love the two as a pairing. It was iconic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, them in the suits and dancing with each other.
Oh,
Oh,
it
so
was great.
I loved that.
It turned out like an Odd Couple type vibe where like it shouldn't work, but it does. So that was extremely enjoyable, and they did a good job. Like,
yeah,
I mean, they made it to the finale. Like, so it turned out really well. For them, obviously they didn't win. I think they were the first ones off. Actually, they came in fifth. Yeah, they came in fifth. So I mean, it didn't fully work out, but also it was to their disadvantage that it was something that happened later.
Yeah, so like,
because I think if you make it that far and you're one of the OG people, like if you're a finalist and you're OG, you have more clout than the non-OG. So yeah.
Well, far in the 2 seasons, only OG people have won.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that goes to the relationship building aspect of it. If you have a core, then it's gonna help you out. And I was actually kind of shocked that I'm not, because of the shock that it was a super influencer, which was also new, the super secret influencer.
Oh no, that was last season as well.
They did? Was it secret though?
Joey did it.
Was it secret?
Yeah, but Joey revealed it.
Ah, okay.
That was the difference.
Yeah.
Joey didn't keep anything secret.
That's true.
1.
And I mean,
Joey was like, "Here's my chest."
It got him that W. So
yeah, Lee kept it a secret this time.
Yeah. Very reasonable though. Very reasonable, because I don't think it would have turned out well for him.
No, yeah, I think Delisa would have come for his head top.
Yeah.
Especially since Delisa, in the first place, had called out Lee for being a catfish or overly nice, I think was the phrase.
Yeah.
On the thing. But this leads me to my big question for next season, John, for you. Do you want to see, and we alluded to this like jokingly, maybe not jokingly, us possibly trying to get on the show together. Would you want to see more duos next season?
Yeah, and that was the thing in the first season when we had Mitchell's brother and mom on. It was fun. It's just like, I mean, it was just I didn't have the same connection with them as the other people in that season, so they weren't my favorites. But I like that idea of being and with the catfish part of it, it was even more fun because like you had to like create this character and you had to work together to do so. So yeah, I would love to see that from the beginning and where it could go. I think it could be a really good time, especially if of a funny pairing.
I want to see two, like season 1, we get a dude and his mom. It was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
He's flirting with girls and his mom's like, you should flirt with them this way. It's just odd.
Yeah.
I want to see 2 friends do it, or a couple. I want to see people who are connected like that.
A couple would be good. That would be good, because if they do decide that they need a flirt, then that could make it weird, but it could make it fun weird. Like hopefully only fun weird.
Yeah, exactly.
But that could be a lot. That could be cool. That could be really cool. I don't want to see any more like in the first season where it is the duo and they know that it's a duo. Like they go in as like, hey, a son and a mom.
Interesting.
Because wasn't that the thing, or was it only actually first season? What did they know the mom was with them? No, right?
Did who know?
Everyone else?
No, they did not know.
Okay. So wait, yeah, but I wouldn't want that. Like, I wouldn't want anyone like to go in as a duo. Like, oh, and I'm like a duo. Like, I think that would just become too
show
much.
The people in the circle that they are a duo.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I don't want that either. I like it being solos because that kind of changes the dynamic of things.
Exactly. And then it would be a whole different gameplay type situation.
And we've
But
never seen a duo be an influencer yet,
you're right. That's a good point. That is
which would be
very
very.
good.
So I want a duo from the beginning next season.
Yeah, and I think the duo would have a
Maybe
better chance.
us.
Yeah, hey, if anyone sees this, vote us. But yeah, I think I like the duo idea because it will bring something different to the table, right? Duo from the beginning could be a lot of fun. Um, but I don't know, that would be fun. I don't really have any, like, it's hard for me to conceptually come up with ideas for the game, without sitting down and like actually being like, this could be interesting. I think the one thing that would be interesting is if next time the Joker's able to like read instead of like being the Joker in that sense, maybe
That'd be
or
wild.
call him the spy, right? Like someone
Oof,
here
that's
will get
so
spy.
sneaky. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or maybe not even telling other people that there was a spy. Just saying maybe the one person who's
Oh, that's
saved
dark.
will get a special ability and never say what it is, right? Or like, and
Oh,
it it it
oh,
I mean, and it maybe it brings it into that gamey territory that necessarily won't feel the same, but I think it's just something that's different, you know?
it could be cool to be honest with you, because you could come to
Mm-hmm.
like if someone's talking crap about someone else, you can go to them and be like, hey, look, sources say that so and so's being an a hole confirmed.
Yeah. I think another interesting thing could be is if maybe influencers, like maybe at one point they do influencers and those influencers are able to share another picture or something like that,
Oh,
another
okay,
tidbit. I think
so
that could
some
be.
more perks for it being an influencer. I'd agree.
Yeah, so then maybe you could build an extra level of bond within that. I think it could make that could be interesting. But I like the idea, and I hope they continue with this idea of every season having these new things in, like we said earlier on, because I think it will keep it fresh, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because if the gameplay feels the same, then it's gonna feel stale, and I don't think that necessarily is gonna work.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. Now, before we wrap things up,
Mm-hmm.
we now have an example of a catfish and someone playing themselves winning the show.
Yes.
This kind of changes everything.
Yeah, because I didn't think the catfish was. I thought Chloe was gonna win.
Me too.
I 100% thought Chloe was going to win. I am not mad that Delisa won, though.
Yeah,
Especially with finding out that she was pregnant on the show.
was she pregnant on the show?
Yeah. So she actually said, well, it turns out the goodbye sex, like they ended up got pregnant. So
Wow.
she took so if you haven't watched it on Netflix, it's not under the Circle tab, which I didn't like necessarily.
That's why I
It's
didn't
its
see
own,
it.
its own thing. It's called the Circle, the After Show or whatever, something like that. You'll be able to find it if you just search the Circle. I'm assuming it will also pop up. But she comes out and she says that she started realize like she got signs. Women know their bodies. That's exactly what she said. And she was like, I found out, and so I took a pregnancy test on the show. And she was like, but I had to tuck it into the back of my head. She's
She
like,
took it on the show?
she found out while on the show. She's like, the producers got me a pregnancy test, and she was like, I found out I was pregnant, but she's like, I had to win. So that like, it even meant more to her, and I think that's why later in the season she was more emotional.
Yeah. She started to get
Not
really
not necessarily
emotional.
because she was pregnant, but she knew
No,
what she
but
was playing for.
there
It
was more
meant
at
so
stake
much
now.
more for her to win, and when I found like even when she won, I was happy for her because she had her
Yeah,
family and she was playing for her family. And then when I found out she was pregnant, I was like, that's even better. It's just
yeah,
the icing on the cake.
I'd agree. Wow, I did
So
not know that. Wow.
yeah,
Okay.
but I like that it's gonna give more people hope that see this because obviously a lot of these people saw the first season and then ended up on this season.
Yeah.
People now watching these seasons, like us, will now be like, hey, maybe a catfish can work, right? Because I didn't think catfish would work, right?
Me
I
neither.
just didn't think that was gonna win the game. Because it's harder almost, right?
No, not
Oh,
almost. It's
if you're good,
definitely harder.
if you're a good person, like like a pure person, like the way Joey is, the character of Joey once again,
Shuby,
don't know
Sammy.
Shuby, They
Chris.
are pure. Yeah, they're pure people or played pure people. It's easy to be you then. Like if you're that pure person, you just got to be you. When you have to act and when you have to be strategic just with what you say to play this character, it's a new level of the game. Where I mean, Delisa got lucky. She's so lucky that she had notes on the Last Dance, basically.
Dude. Oh,
She got lucky. She almost got screwed. Like the producers threw it at her, and it was a test. I think. Like, can you
yeah.
get this? And she had the notes. Which shout out her for being smart enough to have a notebook. Her and her husband sat down and they had a notebook. But when I saw
Bro.
that, I was like, she's a genius. Like you could see that. Like, and it wasn't just like a page or two. She had a notebook filled out with things that she might need to know.
When I saw that, I was like, Jack, you couldn't have done that too, bro.
Yeah, that was silly.
Like, Delisa came to play.
Yeah.
She was ready. She deserved
Mhm.
the win. And
Yep.
doing that while knowing that you have a life growing inside of you and trying not to be too stressed, that's so gangster. Good on her, bro. I
Yeah,
did not
man.
know that at all. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Wow.
and she also ended up, she got a house with the money.
Oh,
She used it to get a house. So
that's
she
awesome.
did exactly what she said she was going to do. And that was the thing. Even though she was a catfish, she was still her. Like, so I think that's why it worked out for her. But we're just going to have to merge ourselves, Kyle.
Well, now here's the thing, John. Next season, so we've seen someone play themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen someone be a catfish, but with aspects of themselves within.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible we'll ever see someone like Jack or Seaburn last season who played his girlfriend, Rebecca?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll ever see someone doing that type of game win? The American version, at least. We haven't watched the British version.
I 100% think it's possible.
I just don't.
I can't see it.
I don't know.
Although, but like that's the thing. Like we don't know. Like it's definitely possible if the person can do it right and pull it off, right? Like if you get an actor on, right, who's playing someone, they could be good at it, where they could get into that headspace.
Yeah.
They could be good. And someone who sat down, did their homework, if they're playing another gender, like Delisa, like then you could pull it off. But it's obviously it's harder. So that being said, who knows?
Yeah. So I think that's the next thing. We'll see. If someone does that next season,
Mm-hmm.
then I think the show has endless possibilities because that means it's anyone's game if you play it right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, one question I have for you, and it's not necessarily about the show, but how, once again, Netflix released the show. The four episodes, and then what? It was 2 and then 1 or something like that?
No, I think it was,
4,
4, 4, 4, 1.
4, 4, 4, 1. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't mind. You know what? I like the finale not being bunched in with the rest.
Same.
Because the finale being its own day lets you get it done with quickly before you get a
Mhm.
spoiler.
Now, but do you wish it was like 2 episodes a week or something like that?
That's tough.
Right? It was a strategic play because of the fact that obviously if you have that little ability to binge watch at the beginning, it's going to get you more hooked than just if it was like 1 episode. It might not hook you as much. But I understand the Netflix play on that, and I still think Netflix is kind of testing this out with things. Obviously they watch like how Disney Plus releases things, and then how can we release things for our new shows. So it's interesting to see. So I'm very curious about that. I think if they did like 4 and then 2, 2, 2, I just want it to last longer, right?
I think I agree.
To build that hype. It felt like it went by quick, right? From when it started to then it ends with the 4-episode chunk, it feels quick. But I'm also someone who comes, and I mean maybe younger generations like this better because they're more used to just the binging of shows. Where I liked, our old school Jersey Shore days where it was a day of the week and you'd get hyped and it would be this almost event television type thing.
Well, but The Last Dance did really well, and that was 2 episodes a week.
That's true.
So I think that we could do.
I like the
I think
2
2 week
episodes
would work.
or even if you did even if you did like the 4 chunk first to get people hooked, and then 2 from there.
That's fine. Yeah.
And even if you did 2 from there and then kept the finale separate still. But also, I like the fact that they added another episode to the season. First season was 12. This season was 13. I like that. I like longer seasons for these things, though. So that's just me. It didn't feel too long, in my opinion.
No.
It felt good. So I really like the release and all that. I do wish it was longer, but I'm glad that they also, made the season longer. Hey, 15 episodes next time. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I to me, as long as it's not all out in one day, I'm good.
I do have a lot of questions though, like how long are these people here for? Things like that.
Yeah, there's Q&As by them all on their social medias where I think they answer that, and I'm gonna check
Mhm.
some of them out because I'm curious as to that too.
Yeah.
Especially if we do wind up applying.
And then also, like, what do they are they just left up to the entertaining themselves while they're there?
Yeah, they are.
Like, do they get any TV access or any internet? Like, I don't think they do get contact to home or outside world. But like, do they get like a newspaper or anything every now and again? Just something to read or something
I'd probably
to
bring in
do?
some comics, but
Yeah.
with that, I think that'll do it for us here on this week's episode.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Anything else you need to say?
I think that's it for me. I mean, final thoughts on the season.
Oh, I really liked it. Not as much as season 1, but
Mhm.
that cast was special.
Yeah, it's like the homegrown, like, it's what got us hooked to the show. But I would still 100% recommend The Circle
Yes.
to everyone. Season 1, season 2. And I can't wait for another season that hopefully we're in.
Yeah. Yes. And with that being said, until we're on The Circle, where can people find you, John?
As always, Ginger Gorilla Gaming on Twitch, Instagram, same thing. You could stop by the Twitter. There's a link tree attached to the bottom of this video too that you guys, if on actually on podcast apps and on YouTube,
YouTube's.
check it out. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to drop a follow. If you're watching or listening on a podcast app and you enjoyed, head on over to the YouTube. I once in a while post gaming stuff, but it's mostly just our podcast there. That's where you guys could stop by and check it out. But then also head on over to Kyle's YouTube and check his stuff out, along with our good buddy Sean.
And that is youtube.com/geeksweekly. That's the primary place you can find me. Sean right now is kind of taking the reins on a lot of stuff right now on the channel. I'm working on some, I'm being the creative. I'm trying to find my next creative venture, my next project. And hopefully it's a good one. I've got some ideas coming. And if they turn out well, or if they turn out in practice as they seem in my head, they could be pretty cool. So make sure to check those out. With that being said, thank you all very much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Peace.